Hey, add it up till we got to the sum. Stayed in the rhythm, now we on the drum. Nova mentality, you see how we coming. Real talk on it, we keep it 100 dreams. Money can't buy it, that's all that we wanted. Wait, now we see what we needed. Putting that work till this mission completed. We feeling blessed, thought we was depleted. Real life winners, we can't be defeated. Stay by our side like we on the drum line. Know that things gon' be hard sometimes. It's a new day, check the forecast. Perfect day for the drum podcast.
Alright, here we are.
What's up? How you doing, man?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to be black and amazing.
What's up to everybody listening right now? I am one of your hosts this evening. My name is Dre Murro, project manager here at Novateur Agency.
And my name is Cahlen, Fogg, the social strategist here at Novateur Agency.
Yeah. And this is the Drum Podcast. It's a cultural and informational podcast where, we have conversations with marketing professionals to talk about how they navigate through this industry and to get some insight on their creative experience. And so today we have none other than MGP Allum himself, Julian LOGIK Gilliam. What's going on, brother?
I'm blessed. Glad to be here. Shout out to MGP for paving the way for a lot of young black and brown professionals.
Oh man, we definitely double those sentiments for sure.
Yeah, man. LOGIK, we usually start each episode with a daily check-in. So, we basically just say a word about how we feeling on the day. So I'll start. I'll ask Dre, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling luxurious, brother. I got my shirt open, you feel
I
me?
see
Like,
you.
know what I'm
I see
saying?
you.
Like, I'm feeling luxurious. We in here talking with my brother Julian. I'm feeling good, man. How you?
I'm feeling all right. I'm trying to get up to your level. I got this hoodie on and, ain't come as, club fresh, but, we here. I'm Cahlen Fogg. How you doing, LOGIK? Like, how you feeling today?
I'm amazing. I'm in Hawaii right now.
Really?
My girlfriend, she driving. Yeah, man, just hanging out.
I love it, brother.
How long you been there?
Yes, sir. How you liking it out there, bro?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, man, I never know, because I actually have a Japanese language school for black and brown people, free classes, and the Japanese influence in Hawaii is like crazy. So I just been kind of flexing a little Japanese out here. It's been a dope experience.
We are familiar, brother. We're gonna get into that in a second, man. But it's crazy that you bring out the fact that you're in Hawaii right now. You're on this podcast with us, and so that's gonna lead me into my first question for you this evening, bro. Based on where you are on your path today, was this a part of the plan?
Yeah, man. I think the plan was early on was to make the world my home, to be able to be wherever I needed to be, and not be at the mercy of going into an office to check in on what I was doing. Because as a creative, I feel like I just need my laptop and my iPad or whatever, and cell phone, and maybe some paintbrushes if I feel like it. But that's all. Like, it's always been a part of the plan. It's crazy that it's coming to fruition. What's that? Wes Khalifa is like, I tell my homies to quit bitching. We're gonna get there in a minute. That's how it's like.
Yes, sir, bro. Yes, sir. Nah, I love that. The Wiz Khalifa reference is wild, bro. So we got to get to know you a little more in depth, for real. So if there were three things that you wanted the people to know off the rip about LOGIK, what would that be, and what is the importance of the three things?
Always make your moves bigger than, I guess, you as a person. So or even as you navigate corporate America, how can you make the job bigger than the job, and how can that job help and position you to be the best version of yourself, to be where you need to be, and just how to look at these entities as vessels. They're soulless, so you want to be at the end of the day, when they decide to ex-nay you or not promote you, or to promote you waiting on your raise, but how can you leverage those things to position you to be in a better place regardless of the company itself. So look at yourself as a business versus just an employee at a place. So I think that's one thing. And one is I'm big St. Louis. I'm born and raised in St. Louis, so it bred me, it raised me. And then let's see, LOGIK, also just the name of LOGIK, it comes from the idea of I had to unlearn and relearn everything that was taught to me. Coming from Ferguson, it was like I put my eye upside down, my K is backwards, and that's just to be reflective of a childlike wonder, just to keep that imagination flowing, and just like me having to pretty much discern my own understanding of what life is and how to approach everything. So everything when I was a kid was like illogical. Why are you doing it that way? Why are you going? Why are you doing this or whatever? And I had to believe that shit meant something. Like it was the gospel for me, and everything that I saw wasn't necessarily how I wanted to live my life. So that's where logic come from. Like I had to derive my own meaning of understanding and how to navigate life and stuff. So yeah.
That's major, bro. We talked to your friend Ryan on the last episode, and he mentioned that we should call you illogical as a joke. So it's wild that you said that. He like, yeah, y'all call him illogical instead. He gonna get a kick out of that.
But so Logic, like, can you describe what it's like to work at a place like Leo Burnett and develop Naomi? Like, what's that like?
It was, see, for me, it was I looked at Leo Burnett was gonna be my last stop as far as advertising agencies go. And when I created Naomi, it's crazy. Like when you say it's like it was written, like when I came in there, I knew I wanted to find a way to innovate in the building, regardless of what it was. So I started working on tobacco. I was working on dip, mostly because when I was interviewing, I was very clear to say I wouldn't be interviewing. I wouldn't start on working on menthol because I understand what they're gonna sell menthol cigarettes to. They sell it to Black and Hispanic. But I don't know no Black people that really dip for real. So I mean, like my soul stayed intact. So as I was able to navigate Leo Burnett and just see what they were lacking in regards to when I created Naomi, the only thing that was different was we understood that culture and color weren't synonymous. And things happened within the building that allowed for me to get a lot of FaceTime with the CEO, a lot of FaceTime with, like, I realized that certain people in place didn't necessarily have the proper, they didn't have power. It was just titles. So it's kind of like looking at the club with the lights on, right? Like everybody enjoying the lights with the flashing lights and the performance. But when you turn that light off, people start scattering around like fucking cockroaches. And then you get to see the bouncer, you get to see the person who organized the event, and you really get to break it down for what it is versus like this thing on this shiny pedestal, and you know what I'm saying, and you falling in line waiting for your turn. I was able to just navigate it that way, and at the end of the day, man, everything you start to realize everything's just people and ideas, relationship, people and ideas. So you start to see everybody just going through the motions in the office because they just collecting the check. But the thing is like you start to realize like, yo, we got spaces in here on the 30th floor, nobody utilizing. People getting all these crazy salaries, but they just go home and spend their money, go with their family or whatever. And I was looking at this as like untapped resources. So like I was using Leo Burnett to print my prints for my art shows at Complex Con. I was using Leo Burnett to leverage me to enter social circles. So it was all about just like, that you scratch my back and I scratch yours. And the thing is, you want to see everybody doing the same thing, just waiting in line for their promotions and waiting in line just to, collect their check. And then when you just kind of do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, that's what's going to set you apart. So yeah, man, it was I felt free because I had autonomy. I didn't work on dip anymore. After 3 months of running Naomi, I was too busy to work on dip. I was like, and they tried to give me some email blast. And I was like busy working on something, salvaging the relationship, whatever. And I was like, yo, if I work on this, I'm going to leave. I'm going to quit 100%. And they didn't give me that shit no more.
Yeah, stick to Naomi. Now, I love the fact that you say you looked at your Leo Burnett position as your last, hoorah for the advertising industry. And you took that as the opportunity to create something like Naomi. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? That's just motivational, it's inspirational. I love thinking that you use that opportunity to make an impact.
And also Naomi is named after the wife of Leo Burnett too, which was
I
cool.
saw
Just
that.
so like, yeah, it was dope, man. It was dope. It was so fun. And then just by doing that, it made me very palatable for something like Google, which is then how I transferred over there to that.
So how does that transition into your position at Google?
Yes, I'm a creative director at Google currently. And what happens is when you look at big tech places like an Amazon or Google or any of these things, a lot of people like wondering how do you get hired at places like this? And it's really like it is innovation. it is like when I say it's people and ideas, that's exactly what I mean. You got to think about these entities. They have to be ever evolving. They have to be ever changing. So like when I said everybody just kind of waiting in line for their promotion, people just waiting in line for their check, people just waiting, they just chilling, right? Day in and day out, year after year. They just doing their job. So the thing that if you somebody like Google or Amazon or Apple or anything, you're looking for people that are going to be change agents. So it's an of course to do your role, like that's a duh. But you want people that's going to bring something to the plate to challenge the social norms, to challenge the current tech. So when you look at something like Gmail wasn't orchestrated by people in Google per se. It was this thing from it was actually created by some devs that were hired to do something completely different. And by those people hiring people that are take initiative, I guess it was like whatever email server platform that they were using at the moment, they realized it was Huff and was like, yo, they took this 20%, they call them 20%, where they allocate you to innovate something as long as you get other people to coincide with what you're doing. So those people who don't just fulfill, that aren't just task-oriented developers, they created Gmail based on just having the 20% to create whatever they wanted. So in that vein, you're just around a lot of people that just are self-starters. So it's super inspiring.
That's what's up, man. Like, I do want to ask you, like, with that, like, working at a corporation like Google, how was it for you to stand out from the rest? Because, you know, that's a huge corporation. So how did you find your way to, you know, go against the grain?
Oh, you said to stand out at Google or to stand out to get to Google?
Oh, well, to stand out at Google.
Well, that's not hard. Cosmetically, I stand out. I stick out like a sore
There you go. There you go. Say that, brother. Say that.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. But other than that, it's just like, I think as Black people and Black and brown people, I think we need to, oftentimes we realize, I mean, it's important to get the what do you call it, business acumen, right? To understand the acronyms, to understand how to respond to an email properly. Once you get all that stuff, like, cross your T's and dot your I's, then after that is more so about like leaning into our keen perspective on life, our keen perspective per our culture, and really learning how to package that to sell it, not to sell it to, to water it down, but like to be able to, when I'm in a business meeting, a bunch of people have their own perspective, and I lean in on my lived experiences, and my lived experiences applied, as we're a user base of every type of person in the world, then it's just adding something else to the pot. So as Black people, I think it's very important that we understand business acumen, but also to embrace who we are, especially in these rooms. And because you can't replace us.
You can't.
You can't be replicated.
Stand out cosmetically. I love that, bro. I'm gonna have to write that down and keep that.
And it's funny, I got a friend at Google. He said the exact same thing that you're saying. Like, we just gotta do what we gotta do to stand out there, bro. But to move on, like, we noticed that there's like a lot of Japanese influence in your life. So I was wondering, what was it on your trip to Japan that like inspired you, like gave you motivation?
Yeah, no, man. I'm an animator. I got my degree in animation and film and video at Columbia College, Chicago. I graduated in 2013. And my dad used to work for a movie distribution company back in the day. So I would get like screener copies. Like my dad's company would be the ones that gave Blockbuster their movies to rent out, or Hollywood Video, or whatever in your hood. So I used to get a lot of movies and cartoons as a kid. So just when I started realizing the difference between like a Disney animation and some anime or anime, you start to like, wow, the detail, like in Akira, if you ever seen Akira, Spirited Away, or Dragon Ball Z, any of these things, it's like, wow, this is just like based on one country creating all of this stuff. And I guess I'm wearing a Japanese hat right now, but it was just like, I gotta know more, you know what I'm saying? And then just like the attention of detail. And I actually learned, because like I'm into fashion, so like the attention to detail into the stitching and all that stuff. But one thing I did learn is that, you know how we do class in America, where you can always move up in grades, right? You can go from a 70 to an 80 to a 90 per class. Per assignment. But in Japan, you start at 100, and your job is to not lose points.
Oh, shoot.
So that you have to perfection, you have to uphold perfection.
I didn't know that. That was wild.
Dang.
Learn something new every day.
No wonder Candy wilding out there like beating us.
Right, that's wild.
Gotta keep them points, man. Gotta keep them points.
Yeah, right.
So that's a whole nother approach to life and how you look at upholding detail, upholding service, upholding mastery, you know?
For sure. That'll definitely shift your perspective, I'm sure. And so you have a Japanese language school. And so I wanted you to just expound upon that once more. Just, tell us the name again and the mission behind the school.
Yeah, the school is called Chiba Center, www.chiba.center. And it's a Japanese language school for Black and brown people. We have about 40 rotating students globally on pretty much on every continent. And what it is, man, I have a sensei, his name is Richard, and he lives in Chicago. He knew I've been in Japan. He speaks like 4 languages, Japanese, Spanish, Chinese, and he pretty much gave me one-on-one classes for like a couple of months, and just like every day, like 3 or 4 days a week, I was just like learning Japanese. And then I decided, and I brought a couple homies on, like my homie Brandon Bro, my cousin Jabril. And then next thing you know, we were just having people come to my art studio in Chicago learning Japanese. Black people, we had black skateboarding crew. We had classes 3 days a week. But then shout out to Clubhouse, we were able to offer that service online and attract people on a global scale. And from there, now we have people all over. We have levels to it. And what it is Japan is like the 3rd largest economy in the world, and they love black and brown culture. And Japanese culture is one of the things that kind of dictate, pop culture and the things that's happening on a global scale. So it's just like really offering that resource of something so that's usually lacking in Black communities. And I think a lot of Black communities have an affinity for Japanese culture, even Chinese culture, Wu-Tang Clan, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's really bringing that into the fold, because a lot of us don't have these resources, especially in our community. So yeah, man, I've seen people go from no understanding of Japanese to almost damn near fluent now. It's beautiful.
No.
Man, Logic, you're like a superhero to every Black kid that watched anime when they were younger. Because I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I thought I was the only one. So it's good seeing somebody taking and running with it.
For sure. Nah, bro, we definitely we commend you just on providing another resource, especially, as a Black man. I commend you as well just for being able to venture into new spaces like the NFT space. And we wanted to ask you, like, if you were new and you just wanted to jump in to the NFT space, how would you go about doing that? How would somebody do that?
Yeah, first of all, I would say slow and steady. Also, I just kind of, unfortunately, I have to jump in like 8 minutes, unfortunately.
No problem. We wrapping it up right now, brother. So it's perfect time.
Girlfriend looked like, yo, we gotta go.
We got you.
TV, right? No. So, man, for me, bro, I think it's important for us to take our time, man. For some an industry that's just so brand new, and it's like, and I'm gonna be transparent. Like, I've been in the game for about a little over a year, and I spent 6 months on Clubhouse before I even dropped the NFT. And I just spent that time learning, because NFTs are much more than pretty pictures. I know we see like PFP, which is a profile picture project. I have a Bored Ape. Shout out to Bored Apes. I bought it for $250. Now it's worth like $300,000. Like, it's crazy. But right. I got a Lamborghini in a JPEG, and
I see
the access to information there, that doesn't come cheap. It doesn't come. It's not a microwave. There is no silver bullet of a key like to get in and understand everything. When I say I spent 6 months, I lived on the internet. Like, I was in my Google meetings, putting my phone under the pillow so I wouldn't leave the Clubhouse chat room talking about NFTs. And when I say this, is like, give yourself so much time and grace to understand and learn and realize that you don't know shit, to ask as many questions as possible. I would say start on Twitter Spaces, Twitter alone. And if y'all want to tap in with me, I can give you a list of 100 people to follow on Twitter. And the reason I say this is because 70%, $41 billion got circulated in NFTs last year. 41 billion. 70% of all sales came through Twitter.
Okay, done
And
deal.
then people want to Instagram. I'm like, people like want to bring up Instagram. I was like, did you not hear what I said? 70% of all sales came through Twitter. Right? So I would spend a lot of time in the Twitter Spaces rooms, come up on, ask questions. I know it's a little daunting. tap in with me. I'm always doing how to make it as an NFT artist. I run a group called NFTs for the culture on a day-to-day basis. In full transparency, like I say this because any person can look this up because you can see anything on the blockchain. I dropped a project called The Plug. It was 888 NFTs. I sold them at 0.0888 Ethereum. I sold out in less than 2 hours. My project grossed 78.5 ETH or something in 2 hours. That's $331,000.
I wanted this man in Hawaii right now.
No wonder my boy in Hawaii cooling.
Dang.
I love it. I love to hear it.
That took time, bro. That took time and patience and community
So knowledge.
understanding, you know?
Understood,
and I
brother.
want to encourage us to be patient and to take time to learn this technology.
Listen, so the Drum Podcast listeners, y'all heard it. Tap in with Logic, NFTs for the culture. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna give you that knowledge you need before you tap in.
We know we tap in.
Yeah, man. So listen, let's do our rapid fire. You know, real quick. We're gonna jump into our rapid fire segment, which is gonna round us off. It's gonna close us out, and we'll just jump right into it.
All right, Logic. Rebel or obey?
You say what?
Rebel or obey?
Rebel.
Of course. Challenge or surrender?
Challenge, bro.
Cultivate or destroy?
Cultivate. You either build or you destroy. Cultivate all day.
There it is. There it is. I mean, I feel like you said the right answer.
Yeah, like there's clearly a wrong and right answer.
Hey, listen. So we always check out with our guests at the end of the Drum Podcast, and so I do want to ask you a closing question. What is one thing that you would like to tell a creative?
I would say, trust your journey, enjoy the struggle, be okay with the struggle, especially if you're young. Like, you don't need much. You need a pallet. You can eat McDonald's at the end of the day. If you need to go out of town, spend that little $250 to go to South by Southwest or Art Basel. There's a hostel. Be resourceful. You know what I'm saying? Invest in the upfront. You got a lot of energy. You won't have that energy when I'm 32. I don't have the energy that I had when I was 24. So it's like, really embrace not knowing nothing, embrace not having shit, embrace be curious, you know, and don't get pressured by the man or the woman to the left and right of you accomplishing certain things and feeling like you need, why not me? Because then it's like that thing to take a step back and realize, did you really do what that person did to be in a position that person did to get what they got? And then once you do that, you can humble yourself and realize you ain't did that shit and
get back to work. For sure, brother.
Yeah. So I say, love the journey, enjoy it, and fall in love with your process and fall in love with the way you lay your line down. You're not gonna draw or shoot photos like the next person, and that's okay. That's why you. You know what I'm saying?
Gems, bro.
Appreciate that, man. And I just want to say, like, even though you're 32, you're still young, man. Like, don't let that get past you. Like, you're still a young man. Come on. You got a lot of time left.
Age is but a thing of the imagination, my brother. We appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for tapping in with us over here at the Drum Podcast, Logic.
Man, it's a blessing, man. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, man. I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Definitely reach out to me outside of these channels and connect with me. Let's build, let's grow. MGP, shout out to y'all too, man. They changed my life.
Love. Enjoy your time in Hawaii, brother.
Yeah, man. Take care.
IG, one.
Hey, add it up till we got to the sum. Stayed in the rhythm, now we on the drum. Nova mentality, you see how we coming. Real talk only, we keep it 100. Dreams money can't buy, and that's all that we wanted. Wait, now we see what we needed. Putting that work till this mission completed. We feeling blessed, thought we was depleted. Real life winners, we can't be defeated. Stay by our side like we on the drum line. Know that things gon' be hard sometimes. It's a new day, check the forecast. Perfect day for the Drum Podcast.